So there is a strain of thought that not only should we give thanks to the things that we think we should give thanks to, but also we're going to take a look at this evening as posing the question, how do we give thanks, or why do we give thanks, even when things are not going so well? So think about the last two Thanksgivings, right? Both of them were post October 7th. And before that, all those Thanksgivings during COVID, where we were locked up and we couldn't spend them with our loved ones often. And still, we're supposed to give thanks. Let me share with you a couple of quotes about giving thanks, which kind of takes things, I think, they're very poignant, and they are, sometimes you might think that they carry things a little too far to the extreme about the things we should give thanks for, but that's exactly what I want to share with you. First, from Reb Nachman of Bratslav. So this is a Hasidic teaching of his. Gratitude rejoices with her sister, joy. Gratitude rejoices with her sister, joy, and is always ready to light a candle and have a party. Me too. Gratitude doesn't much like the old cronies of boredom, despair, and taking life for granted. All right? So gratitude as the sister of joy. He's more than hinting here that when one expresses gratitude or lives a life of gratitude, joy will arise. That joy will be part and parcel with being grateful for things. As always, please feel free to interrupt with any questions or comments as we go along all evening, okay? So how about another expression of gratitude? Now, this is going to take it a little bit further. This is from the Kotzker Rebbe. Now, one thing to remember about the Kotzker Rebbe is that he was very stringent, and he crossed his T's and he's dotted his I's, and he made sure that you knew about it. But this is an interesting quote coming from someone who with his students, he was as soon give a zetz. Okay, I have to stop there for a second. So my father of blessed memory, he never really did it to us at the Seder table, but he always told the stories at his Seder table when his father, my grandfather, was leading the Seder. He had the twins on his right and his left, and if you didn't behave yourself for a moment, without even looking to see who you were, he'd give you a zetz, right? Off to the left or to the right, depending upon who was misbehaving, which one of the twins. And they were the ones most apt to be messing around. So this is kind of like the stringency of the Kotzker Rebbe. The Kotzker Rebbe, before throwing out an old pair of shoes, would, with intention, wrap them in newspaper before placing them in the trash, saying, "How can I simply toss out an old pair of shoes that has served me so well these past years?" Wow. To give that kind of kavod to an old pair of shoes that have served him well, extending his gratitude to an inanimate object, well, there's something, I think, very deeply poignant about one who does that, who shows gratitude to something that we wouldn't think needs our gratitude. I mean, an old pair of shoes doesn't have any feelings. However, he had a relationship with that pair of shoes, did he not? And so in that relationship, he wants to acknowledge the bind that he had with that inanimate object and saying, you can't just throw these things out. You need to acknowledge things. So, of course, we do that in our prayers, in our prayer life. We acknowledge things. If anything, our prayer life, especially if we're eating any kind of food, and we say a bracha. Bracha is a kavanah exercise, an exercise in acknowledging this moment being different from any other moment. And of Hasidic thought, the energy, the life force that food is going to give us, that we are going to animate Of course, all coming from the source, which is divinity. One last quote. This one is, this one is from a Musar teacher. Rabbi Eliyahu Lopian was once talking to a student after davening. He folded up his talit to put it on a bench, but noticed that the chair was covered in dust. He rushed to get a rag to clean it. And when the student tried to get the towel instead, the rabbi said, "No, no, no, no. I must clean it myself. I need to show my gratitude for the bench upon which I folded my talit." What do you think? Any reactions to this example is similar to the Kotzker Rebbe, of course. Welcome, Gail. We're just getting started. You didn't miss anything. Rachel, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I would think that, I mean, when you told the story about him putting the shoes in paper, that he meant that somebody else can use it. Not that he threw it away, but that somebody else will find it and use it if they need it. To throw it away and to wrap it just to throw it away, I don't know.
Well, I think we're talking here about a pair of shoes that have been worn down and beyond, right? That they wouldn't be useful because it does say, the quote says, before placing them in the trash. If he was thinking that they could be useful to somebody else, I think it would have said that. But that is a beautiful, beautiful idea of yours. I appreciate that. That perhaps, in placing them in paper and putting them out for someone to find. Remember, he's living in a much different, he's not putting it on Trash Nothing or in a community listserv for a pair of shoes that he no longer needs that are in good shape, but rather he's living in close proximity. I suspect if they were still wearable, he would give it to one of his students, which he had many. But I love the image behind what you're offering. Anyone else? A reaction to any of these quotes? Yeah, Deborah, go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand. There's so few of us. Just unmute yourselves.
Well, as a person who has taken too many things through my life and kept too many things and is now just starting to understand why I need to get rid of certain things. It's like being grateful for these things. In a way, I'm looking at it through those eyes now. It's like, oh, I had this thing. I really liked it. I don't want to get rid of it, even though I don't need it, even though it's like from 40, 60 years ago. So that is a sense of gratitude, but then that's also a sense of holding on to things for too long and needing to get rid of them in a way that is like saying goodbye. It's saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Renee and I have been doing a lot of cleaning out of the house recently on my insistence. That's my midah, my characteristic. And there's a lot of things, believe you me, I'm glad to see gone. And I'm not saying a bracha over them, and I'm not showing my gratitude to them. If I get rid of a piece of old music equipment, or if I give it away. So I gave away to a wonderful organization called Hungry for Music that finds recipients for used musical equipment. I did do it with that guitar. Thank you for the use of all of these years. Now you're going to be used and put to good use by someone else. So I think it depends what it is. Some stuff just needs to be getting rid of. I think we call that clutter. Alrighty, so we're going to move in a slightly different direction now, relying on Mishna Brachot. So you're probably aware that in the Talmud is broken up is into Mishnah and Gemara. So the Mishnayot, and that is plural for Mishnah, is was the codification of of many things that the rabbis saw that we need to understand is going on in Torah, right? Torah is not, as you know, easy to make a connection between what it says and how we live our lives. So the rabbis codified all of that, and then those statements needed then commentary on. And over the course of 500, 600 years, between up until the year 600, there were conversations, but not with the rabbis in the same room. Rabbis across centuries and people who wrote down what they said or actually put it to memory before they could be written down. So these are conversations across centuries that between the Rabbanim, the rabbis, who are trying to figure out how do we live our lives according to the God-given Torah, or however you understand Torah to have been received. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at some Mishnahot that deal with gratitude, and I think you're going to be surprised at what we find. Now, first, I'm going to share with you when I say these Mishnayot are from Brachot, and that is one of the tractates from the Talmud and the Mishnah, right? It's Brachot, blessings. Now, these Mishnayot and the entire Talmud, the tractate dealing with blessings, starts with some easy questions, kind of like softball questions, and leads up to more difficult things to understand, which is the part of where we are, and you're going to see what I mean by that shortly. So, I'm going to share the Hebrew with you. I would love someone to read it in Hebrew, and then if there's anyone who would like to give a shot at translating it before I share with you a translation, we'll do that too. Okay, so here we go. Volunteer to read the Hebrew. Is it spotlit? There we go. Okay. Someone to read the Hebrew, please. Yeah, Sarah, do you have your hand
I'll
up?
read it.
Go ahead, go for it.
Ha'amar al-kan sipor yaviu rachamecha.
Rachamecha. Good.
V'al tov yizacher shemecha. Modim mishpachim oto.
Good. Perfect. Somebody want to give a shot at translating some of it? Okay, you know some of these words. So a ha'omer, when they say ha'omer, means the one who says, right? Al-kan, a kan is a bird's nest. So this is going to be looking at that part of Torah. Devorah? You had your hand up. You put a finger up.
I was just thinking, it's from the end of the Torah where the world thing about the bird's nest.
That's right.
Or
There's
taking
the
the baby bird.
That's right.
With
Chasing
the
away the bird. So here's one translation. One who recites in his supplication. Oh, so that's a hint at something that's going on here, and I will reveal that to you in a second. Just as your mercy, rachamecha, your mercy is extended to the kan tzipor, a tzipor, tip, 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 the bird's nest, as you have commanded us to send away the mother before taking her chicks or eggs. It doesn't say that in the Hebrew. It's just referring to that in Deuteronomy. So to extend your mercy to us. And the one who recites, may your name be mentioned with the good, or one who, Fial Tov Yizacher Shemecha. Okay, so just as mercy is extended to the bird's nest, because we're supposed to chase the mother bird away before taking the eggs, extend your mercy to us. If you're going to do that for the bird, do it to us. And then V'al tov yizacher shemecha, your name should be mentioned with the good. But however, modim, if a person gives thanks twice, modim, you hear, it's repetition of words. Mishatkim oto. I said it with that tone of voice because you're supposed to tell him to be quiet. As if to say, there is sometimes too much of extolling and thanking God. However, the more than meets the eye is going on here. Because this section of the Mishnah is directed to the Shaliach Tzibur, to the one who is davening, the one who is serving as chazan, the one who is the prayer leader, who is representing the community. Okay? So, Modim is suggesting that don't add anything that's not already there. This is a warning to the Shaliach Tzibur not to bring his, in this case, of course, it's only the male, supplications before the community because it might not represent the community. Stick to the script. Don't offer your own supplications. Don't extend it, which is why it says modim. In other words, we've referenced the chasing of the mother bird away from the nest before taking the egg. That's a good thing. V'al tov, right? Tov is good. Yisacher shemecha. In that good thing, what you're doing is you are mentioning, you're extending it to God's name. You are thanking God. But don't do it. Don't go overboard and think that you can make up new stuff, right? Now, us Jewish renewalists, we do that all of the time, but not in the form of a bracha. Even us who are on the edge of things, we do not make up new prayers. In Hebrew, that we might change language of prayers, but we still adhere to be careful about adding new prayers. Okay? Now there's something else going on here. Modim. It's repeating a word. So something that might be going on here as a warning is a dualistic understanding of God, right? Meaning, you have the al tov yizacher shemecha. On the good things, you should mention God's name. Implied in that is the question, what about the bad things? What about the ra? Are you supposed to thank God for the bad? Now we are going in that direction. Stay tuned because we're headed there. Modim might be suggesting that we're supposed to, that there are two gods. There's a God for the good and there's a God for the ra, the tov and the ra. Okay. Perhaps this is why this is appearing at the end of the tractate, because it's going to deal with questions over dualism, thanking God for the good, and are we talking about a God of good and a God of evil? Absolutely not. And you're going to see in a line that we say every day where this comes from. Okay, before I go on, any questions or comments? Are you surprised or curious? Is this new? Yeah, it is new. Now stay tuned because here comes more newness. Now this is from the same, still from Brachot. It's the 9th Mishnah, meaning it's the 9th chapter of the codification, right? V'yal ha-besorot tovot. Besorot tovot. Rachel, what does besorot tovot mean?
It's good news.
Good news. So my understanding, through the war, Israelis stopped saying lehitraot. Do you know about this, Rachel? I read about this. And they started saying besorot tovot. In other words, not I'll see you later, right, but rather good news. Let there be good news whenever people would part ways during the war. V'al besorot tovot omer. On the good tidings, Somebody give a shot at reading the rest of it, and then we'll take a shot at translating it. V'yal habesorot hatovot omer what? On hearing good news, what do we say? Somebody read it.
Baruch atov hametiv.
Right, Baruch Hatov HaMeitiv. You might recognize that. It's because that's from Birkat HaGomel. When a person has come through a life-threatening situation, they say a formula, and the congregation answers, Baruch Hatov HaMeitiv. Blessed is the one that is so good. It's like doubling again. That is beyond goodness. That's so good and has given goodness to you. Next line, Vial.
Yal Shmuot
Mm-hmm.
Ra'ot Omer Baruch Dayan Ha'emet.
Okay. Can you translate that, Devorah?
Shmuot. I don't know what Shmuot means.
Yes, you do. What's the root?
Shame. Oh. Shame?
No.
No. Shmor?
Anybody help? Rachel is giving you a hint.
The bad news, or Shmuot is what you're hearing.
What's the root, Devorah? What's
Shema?
You got
Right,
it.
Shmuot, to hear.
Right,
So
to listen or to
Shmuot
hear. Yeah.
Shmuot ra'ot is
Oh,
bad
so you're
news.
hearing
upon
bad
he-
things.
Yes. Omer.
Say Baruch Dayan Ha'emet.
Blessed is they.
The al basoro tovat, on good tidings, Omer, one says, Baruch hatov hametiv. Blessed is the one who is good and does good. Right? It's referring to God. V'yal shmuot ra'ot Omer, Baruch dayan ha'emet. Upon hearing bad news, ra'ot, one should say, blessed is the true or faithful judge. Now, where does that ring a bell? Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. Go ahead, Roxanne.
At a funeral, when you're putting the ribbons on people, that's one of the things you say.
Yeah.
Yes, and let's back up. Upon hearing of the death of someone. Mm-hmm. Now, in Jewish renewal circles, sometimes we'll say Baruch HaRachmana, blessed is the merciful one, right? Because we have issues, and other people have issues too, about this phrase, Baruch Dayan HaEmet, the true judge, because it might, for some of us, it kind of triggers, the God who does. If he knows when we've been sleeping, he knows when you're awake. So be good for goodness sake. That kind of, understanding, or as Reb Zalman of blessed memory would say, pediatric understanding of God. So we have to behave in order to get good things. And it also leans into the God of Din, which means what?
Judgment.
God of judgment, right. The God of judgment versus the God of chesed, of kindness that leans. But remember, the teaching is that when the world was created, it was created with both din and chesed, right? And that the world is an admixture of both. Okay, so what is the ikar? What do you take away from this teaching in the Mishnah? Al habasoro tovot, you say, blessed is the one who is good and does good. And on hearing things that go bad, blessed is the true judge. What's the takeaway here? What is it our obligation to do?
Well, either way, we have to acknowledge God.
Uh-huh. Either way, we have to acknowledge that God is in it, right? That God is in it. The very last slide of this section you're going to see is that line from Isaiah, Yeshayahu Hanavi, where the rabbis were so uncomfortable with it that they changed what Isaiah said to be included in the morning liturgy, which we often do on Shabbos morning, right? Uvarei choshech, uvarei eta.
Or a call.
Akol. Right. But what did Yeshayahu say? The one who creates darkness and light, right? Oseh shalom uvarei et hakol, forming light, creating darkness, right? What did Yeshayahu say?
The one who created evil.
So here it is. Yes. So here is the quote. I'm skipping ahead here in my Yotzer or uvarei choshech. I form light and create darkness. Oseh shalom uvarei ra. It doesn't say uvarei et hakol. Uvarei ra. I form light, create darkness. I make peace and create woe, is how it's often translated. Ani yud he vaveh oseh kol ela. I am God. I do all of these things. So we're also, again, we're slipping into the possibility of one understanding that there are two gods. One for the good stuff and one for the bad stuff, right? And that we're supposed to be grateful for it all. The rabbis are going to be attempting to rescue us for when things go bad, of falling into the pit of despair where we lose faith, right? So gathering all, if God is both mimale kol olmim, v'sovev kol olmim, if God surrounds all creation and fills all creation, is there a God outside of creation, a God inside creation? No, Maloch al haaretz kavodo, all the world is filled with God's presence. But the question remains, what is it? Is it a different God outside of the created universe? All righty, let's continue on this subject of reciting a blessing for the good or for the bad. Here we go. So this has the translation here. I'll read the Hebrew, and then somebody volunteer to read the English. And I'm going to read the Hebrew line by line, okay? So, and I'm going to pause. Mevarech al hara'a me'en ha'tova v'al ha'tova me'en hara'a. So somebody read the first line.
הצועק לשעבר, הרי
Oh, no,
זאת...
I mean in English first. So let's up to that point. One who recites.
English, read the English.
What's that? Okay, you read the Hebrew. I'll read the English.
Okay. But it's up there. I can't see the first row.
No, oh, you can't see it? Okay, I'll read the beginning. Mevarech al hara'a me'en ha'tova.
ועל הטובה מעין הרעה.
Okay, stop right there. One who recites or says a blessing, all right, a bracha. Al hara'a me'en ha'tova. A blessing for something that's bad, right? He's saying a blessing for good for something that's bad. That doesn't make any sense to do that, right? Don't say a blessing for good if it's something for bad. Ve'al ha'tova me'en hara, and it goes to say, or recite a blessing of bad for something that is good, right? So continue. Hatzoek.
הצועק לשעבר, הרי זאת תפילת שווא.
Okay, stop right there. So one who tzoek, one who cries out, l'sha'avar, for something that happened in the past. This is a tfilah shav. This is a bracha said in vain. Right, okay? Now, we're not including in this lighting the Shabbos candles. Right? That's a whole different category. That's not what we're talking about here. We're going to have an example. Continue. Ketzad, Rachel.
כיצד הייתה אשתו מעוברת, ואמר, יהי רצון שתלד אשתי זכר, הרי זאת תפילת שווא.
Yeah, of course, this is the husband. Only the husband would say something like this. Right? It's saying Ketzad. For example, his wife is pregnant, and he says, "Hey, may it be God's will that my wife give birth to a male child." Why is that why is that a blessing said, tefillat shav, a blessing that is said in vain?
It's too late.
It's too late, baby. That's right. It's way too late. You should have prayed for a son before you impregnated your wife. And because it is up to you what the gender that child's going to be. Okay? All right. So now, I didn't put in the Hebrew, but there's another example here that I'll share with you. Or one who is walking on the path home and he hears the sound of a scream in the city and he says, may it be God's will that this scream shouldn't be from my house. It's a vain prayer. Why? Because the event has already occurred. It's something that is going on. It's also terrible to pray if something good for yourself that's going to cause something bad for someone else. You can't do that either. Bad thing. All right, we're coming in for a landing here on the Mishnah. Any comments, questions, concerns? All makes sense so far, what the rabbis are driving at? Okay, so don't say a bracha that's in vain. As a matter of fact, that's sometimes referred to as a bracha batala, right? It kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Cancels itself out. So don't say a prayer if you're not going to eat that apple in front of you. Don't say, borei priya eitz. Don't say the bracha and then give the apple to somebody else. You say the bracha because your intention is to do the thing before you. Except, there is an exception to saying a prayer when you're not going to do the thing. Does anybody know what that exception is? It's for educational purposes. If you're working with a student and you're teaching the student a bracha, now wouldn't it be better to have an apple there, for example? Yes. But there's many, many prayers that you teach that you're not going to be able to fulfill it. So you can do it within an educational, container. Alrighty. Here we go. This is the longest one of the Mishnayot. Let's take a look. Somebody want to read the Hebrew? And again, we'll do it kind of like line by line. And by the way, you're going to recognize, this is what I was talking about before, about what we say every day, twice a day. And I hope you take this teaching and it deepens your understanding of the pasuk in Torah, and that's part, of course, of the Shema. Somebody read the Hebrew?
Okay. I can't read the first line.
I got it. Chayav Adam levarech al hara'a, kashem shehu mevarech al hatova. So this is kind of like it's a repeat of what we've been saying. Chayav, chiyuv is an obligation. It's an obligation, Adam, for a person, right? Levarech al har, to bless the bad things in the same way, kashem, that he blesses that the good. Okay, continue.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
Sound familiar, everybody? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's from, of course, the first paragraph following the Shema. ואהבת את אדוני. So let's take a look at one understanding of what it is in the Mishnah of what this might mean, right? So I outlined, I bolded it in green, the parts of the pasuk of the sentence. Continue, please, Rachel.
בכל לבבך בשני יצריך ביצר טוב וביצר רע.
You might be familiar with this teaching. Devorah is going, ooh, I've heard this before. Do you know, what is it? It's based upon the fact that if you look at the word levavcha now, which means all of your heart, right? But lev is only spelled with one vet. It's not spelled with two vets. So that the rabbis take a look at that. Ooh, we're gonna have to drash on that. There's nothing that is in Torah that is not begging us for explication. So, Dvor, you were going to say, what is that pointing us to?
Having both sides, the evil and the good.
Right. Bishnei yitzarecha, the yetzer. You see the word yetzer in the word yitzarecha? In two, shnei, right? Not talking about snow. Two. Sorry, that was a dumb joke. In two of your inclinations. Which one? Yetzer tov over yetzer ra. The inclination to do good and the inclination to do bad. Let's translate that. Okay. So where they get it from again? B'chol levavcha, the two vets that are in levavcha. And all of this is their proof text to that a person is obligated to give thanks for the good and the bad. Okay, continue.
ובכל נפשך, אפילו הוא נוטל את נפשך.
Oh, and all of your, your soul, right? Even if your soul, even if your life, your nefesh, your life is taken from you, if it's canceled, right? If God takes your life or one's life, so you are willing to give up everything. V'chol nafshecha. Already, what's this say in English? Right, with all your soul. V'chol nafshecha means even if God takes your soul. I would prefer it said even if divinity, even if your body, your physical manifestation dies, and it returns to the source. Right? We're supposed to still give thanks. This is tough Torah, right? Right? Our beloved Haiti lost her son. Is she supposed to give thanks for that? No. I don't think it's talking about, but in that case, you're supposed to say Baruch Dayan HaEmet. And it'd be interesting, to go around, to hear from us. I wouldn't ask Katie, for instance, right now, having lost her son within the last 2 weeks. But when bad things have happened, have you ever thought in your life, to give thanks for that? Certainly, I didn't give thanks when I was going through my separation and subsequent divorce and look at God like that. I see it in hindsight, the blessings. Okay, last line. Uvachol v'chol me'oda. You jumped the two words. In green?
ובכל נפשך, אפילו הוא נוטל את נפשך. בכל ממונך.
Wait, don't you see uvachol me'odecha? That's not, maybe your screen is too small.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
So it says uvachol me'odecha, then continue. Bechol mamonecha.
בכל ממונך, דבר אחר, בכל מאודיך. וכל מידה הוא מידה שהוא מודד לך
Heve.
הווה מודה לו במאוד מאוד.
Yeah. So now we're looking at the third part of that sentence, right? V'chol v'cha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol me'odecha, right? So the first understanding that they give us is b'chol mamonecha. Mamon is wealth or money, right? Even if with all of your wealth, right? We're supposed to serve God, all right? But there's another understanding, davar acher, b'chol ma'odecha. So there's another understanding thing that I'm going to say about b'chol ma'odecha. B'chol midah umidah shechu moded lecha. For everything that God meets out, every measure for measure. Shakespeare knew his Torah, right? Have modelach b'mod ma'od. Whether it's good or bad, and that's could that it says in the English, whether it's good or bad or troublesome, acknowledge God very much. Acknowledge God's presence. So what is this again? And we're repeating ourselves. What is this driving home? When things go bad or things are good, what are we being encouraged to do?
Thank God for the good and the bad.
Thank God. I think it goes even further than that. To not, yeah, Miriam.
Well, does it mean actually thank God, or what just came to me was the thought of like acknowledging the presence, and in some ways it's also maybe acknowledging that presence didn't actually cause that, but it's life. It's the great mystery. So it's acknowledging the great mystery of life.
Yeah, I'm with you. We are supposed to thank, because we say Baruch Atah Yud He Vaveh, right? Or Baruch Atah Baruch Dayan HaEmet, right? So we are saying the word blessed are you, the true judge, right? Or the one who brings good and does good. But I'm with you. For me, that's the ikar. That's the kernel of it. That and especially in tough times, in the hardest times when we're at the depths of our despair, how easy it would be to lose faith, or we feel isolated, we feel alone. I think that's redundant, but okay, I said it. We can lose our connection to truth itself, right? If our spiritual practices, if they are rooted in a non-dualistic yearning to be in connection with the one that was, is, and will be at all times, that can be thrown off. So the rabbis are saying, here's what you need to do. You to acknowledge. So let's use that word because it's terrific, Miriam. Stephen, you're unmuted. Did you want to say something?
No,
Okay,
I didn't
fine.
realize I was unmuted.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure. Devorah, you don't have to raise your hand.
Oh, sorry. Well, in many cases also, it's like that story of, is it a blessing or a curse?
Mm-hmm.
And so in many cases when things happen, like you mentioned, a divorce, and I've been through two of them. So it's like in the middle of it, it's not necessarily the easiest thing or the best thing, but in the end, it can be a really good thing. And many things are like that. So I think maybe acknowledging God's presence through everything, because often there is a reason for things, or there is a purpose, or there is something better that's coming. And
Yes, and I'm going to add to that something that a chaplain, a rabbi, a pastor, a friend should never, ever say.
Right.
It's all for the good. It'll be all for the best.
No.
You'd never, ever say that to someone who's going through it. Right? Our role is to sit with that person and to be with them, perhaps, in quiet. We were talking about that this afternoon in meditation. Right, the ministry of presence, right? Just to be there with a person, but never, ever. But people do that, right, in certain circles. And I just
having
think that,
faith means like remembering that or coming back to that.
Yeah, I think
but
that's
not
right.
saying it to other people.
Yeah, nice. Also, so in what you raised up, Miriam, about acknowledging. What helps me is thinking about it, in the third paragraph of the Shema. If that's the if-then paragraph, if you do this, then. Oh, and I'm going to touch on that in a Devar. I'm preparing for the Shabbos about that the fields won't produce its yield, if you do this and that. Because this is the Shabbos, is the parsha that Isaac goes walking, Yitzchak goes walking into the field, Lasuach Pasadeh, right? Which we're not quite sure what it means, but it could mean to pray or meditate in the field. So stay tuned for that. But in any case, what helps me a lot is to think of that. This is all about the yin and yang, right? You can't have one without the other, as the poet says. They both go hand in hand. And Kabbalistically, you think about the klipa, the husks of the darkness, hiding the light and having the faith. Not just faith, knowing that the light is behind the darkness, just waiting for the husk to be cracked open. And that's our hearts, waiting for our hearts to crack open. And that's how the light gets in, as Leonard Cohen reminds us, right? Forget your perfect offering.
Forget
God, Laura.
your perfect offering.
Just sing the song that you can sing.
Just sing a song that you can sing.
There is a crack in everything.
That's how.
No, you have to repeat after me.
There is a crack in everything.
That's how.
That's how.
The light.
I can't sing on tune.
Gets in. That's how the light
gets in.
in. Okay. We are literally coming in for landing, and we're going to change gears. Because what I would love to do is to engage us all in a guided meditation on gratitude. You may want to have a journal or just a pencil and paper. Of course, at the end of it, if there's anything you want to record, any thoughts that came up during it. If you want to jot something down, during the meditation. Please feel free to do that. Okay? So for the rest of the time, I'm drawing on a teaching from Rabbi Chasya Uriel Zeinbauer, who I discovered in the same way that Columbus discovered America. She is the founder of the Institute for Holiness, Kihilat Musar, mindfulness. So she's a Musar teacher. And she teaches the following. This is not the meditation yet. The aim of spiritual life is to awaken a joyful freedom, a benevolent and compassionate heart, even in spite of everything, perhaps because of everything. Gratitude is a gracious acknowledgement of all that sustains us, a bow to our blessings, great and small, an appreciation of the moments that sustain our life every day. We do have so much to be grateful for. Gratitude gladdens the heart. So let's take a few moments to let yourself sit quietly in this moment, noticing your breath, an easy inhalation and exhalation, allowing your body to be relaxed and open, making room. Your breath natural, your heart easy. We're going to begin the practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year you have cared for your own life. Begin again with the feeling how God has cared for you and your life and sustained you all of these years. And now the feeling how year after year you've been cared for by those who love you. Allow yourself to take in the words that I'm going to articulate. And if you wish to say them quietly to yourself, I'm going to be screen sharing these If you feel the need to open your eyes at any time to see the words and to say the words to yourself, please feel free. With gratitude. With gratitude, I remember the people, animals, plants, insects, creatures of the sky and the sea, air and water, fire and earth, all whose joyful exertion blesses my life, and those I love every day. I'll be pausing between each of these. I offer my gratitude. I offer my gratitude for the care and labor of generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. I offer my gratitude for the care and labor of generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. I offer my gratitude. I offer my gratitude for the safety and well-being I have been given right now, in this present moment. I offer my gratitude for the safety and well-being I've been given right now, in this present moment. I offer my gratitude for the blessings of this earth that I have been given right now in this present moment. I offer my gratitude for the blessings of the earth that I've been given right now in this present moment. I offer gratitude for the measure of health that I have been given right here, right now, in this present moment. I offer gratitude for the measure of health that I've been given right here, right now, in this present moment. I offer gratitude for the family and friends I have been given right here, right now. In this present moment, I offer gratitude for the family and friends I have been given right here, right now, in this present moment. I offer my gratitude for the community I've been given right here, right now. In this present moment, I offer my gratitude for the community I've been given right here, right now, in this present moment. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I have been given right here, right now, in this present moment. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I've been given right here, right now, in this present moment. I offer my gratitude for the life I have been given right here and right now. I offer my gratitude for the life I've been given right here and right now. Just as we are grateful for our blessings, so we can be grateful for the blessings of others. Continue to breathe gently and bring to mind someone you care about. Someone it's easy to rejoice for. Picture them and feel the natural joy you have for their well-being, for their happiness, for their success. And with each breath, offer them your grateful, heartfelt wishes. And if you wish, repeat after me, either silently to yourselves or out loud. May your good fortune and joy increase. May you awaken to the good. May you give thanks. And then for ourselves, may good fortune and joy increase. May I awaken to the good. May I give thanks. And then finally, I invite you to open your eyes and offer this to each other. May your good fortune and joy increase. May we awaken to the good. And may we give thanks. Let's take a minute or two to write down any single words or thoughts that may have arisen that you wish to inscribe on the doorposts of your gates. The gates of your doorposts, the gates of your heart. Would anyone like to share a word or two of what you wrote down for yourself? How about we all unmute and go about this popcorn style? And if two people happen to speak at the same time, one will give ground to another. So I'm not calling on anyone.
Yeah, I can start. I am truly grateful and kind of amazed at my life as it is now, that I have the opportunity to be in school, rabbinic school, and that I've come to this place and that I have so many opportunities to grow and become more of who I'm meant to be. And for the only time in my life ever, I feel joy even when things aren't going well, and even when I have many things that I'm struggling with. Inside, I feel a joy because I'm held by community and held by friends and doing what I always wanted to do. And so there's lots of gratitude. I have so much gratitude for that.
Shamati. Your sharing can be one or two words. It doesn't have to be an entire.
Megillah.
Well, that's a wonderful blessing, Deborah. Rabbi Mark, I know you're very musically inclined. You paraphrased Neil Young earlier. It's not a Talmudic reference or anything, but what came to my mind, and to be honest, I don't even know who wrote the song, but it was popularized by Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. That's the gratitude that we can all feel in recognizing the wonder of creation. Who did write that?
Well, Google it and you'll find out.
Okay.
And we'll end our session with that. Thank you, Stephen. Anyone else? Reb Sarah, when you turn 90, you don't have to raise your hand anymore.
So what I experienced with each one of the things of gratitudes, I kept saying, that's me. Those are the things I'm grateful for every day. And then the next one came up, and I said, that too. Holy. Because I live a life of gratitude. Gratitude for everybody in this room. Gratitude for my friends. Today was my great-grandson Salem's 3rd birthday.
Yeah.
That was something to be grateful for. And then later in the day, I had a FaceTime from my other grandson with his 3 children, which made 3 more great-grandchildren for me. And they all said, Oh, me, Mom, I love you. I saw you at your party. I'm full of gratitude. What can I tell you?
Shamati. May you always be.
For me, I'm very grateful for what in the Buddhist tradition would be called sympathetic joy. It means that you get joy from other people's joy, like you're so happy for them. Even when you just see, like, and you're in the park and you see a baby who just learned how to walk and they're, toddling, and you're just so happiness just wells up for that because it is such a blessing because it gives you an exponential amount of times in the day that you can be joyous if you can take joy in other people's joy. So I am very grateful for whatever it is in us that does that, that's able to take joy in other people's joy.
Shamati.
The sweetness. It felt very, very sweet. Reb Mark. Very sweet. Heartwarming.
For me too, Miriam. Thank you. Rachel, Gail, any last words? Oh, I need to unmute you guys. You're unmuted.
I said I'm just happy to be here, to be quiet, not to be speaking with my family in Israel and worry about them, and praying for them, of course. And I'm happy that something is happening with peace, and maybe this is my big thing right now.
Yeah. Shamati. Gail, not too much pressure, but would you like to bring us in for a landing here? No, you hit the wrong button.
She disappeared.
You ran away?
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're on the phone. It's hard to unmute you. I just unmuted you, Gail.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be here tonight. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I'm not but I'm grateful for all the good health that I've had with my healing of my knee. So I'm still grateful today.
All righty. Well, inspired by Stephen. Who wrote it, Stephen?
It was written by Bob Thiel under the pseudonym George Douglas with his writing partner George David Weiss, and was first recorded by Louis Armstrong in 1967.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies blue, clouds white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful, wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow are so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. think to myself, what a wonderful world. Stop the screen share now, and I think to myself, what